Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers, it's time for the Lakers. Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers, it's time for the Lakers. Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers, it's time for the Lakers. Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Thursday, beautiful Thursday morning. And first and foremost, as always, want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. And with all that being said, we all know that the Los Angeles Lakers will be in action tonight as they continue their road trip down along the East Coast. And of course, we know so far so good on the road trip. They are 2-1. In my opinion, they should be 3-0. If Frank Vogel would have coached better in that game at Miami that the Lakers end up fighting themselves back into, then we could be looking at a 3-0 road record for this trip. But hey, so far 2-1, so far so good. And tonight they will be in the city of brotherly love. I don't know how much love the Lakers will get, because I know in Brooklyn the other night that was almost a Lakers home game. I don't think that will be the case. We all know Lakers Nation does travel and get around to these games and show much support, but I don't really think that will be the case on this evening. And I think the Lakers will shut the crowd up tonight yet again. And everybody said, oh, the Lakers had such a tough road trip, but I think they're going to surprise some people, especially with the return of Anthony Davis. I look to see the Lakers win again tonight, probably by at least 7 or 8 points in my prediction. I know they are not favored tonight. I think they are getting plus 3.5, if I'm not mistaken. If I was anybody, I would go ahead and take that bet. Only reason I say that too is the Philadelphia 76ers are looking at injuries. Still, they are without Seth Curry, who has missed, I believe, the last 4 games with the ankle injury. So Seth Curry more than likely will not be available for Philly tonight. And they need another ball handler because, you know, Shake Milton has already been injured. He's been out for a while. And then, of course, Maxey is pretty much their only, Tyrese Maxey is pretty much the only good ball handler that you can really rely on without Steph Curry being there, and of course Shake Milton being out as well. So we all know Danny Green has been out for the past few weeks due to his hip injury. I want to say since early January, and a lot of people were saying that he could come back tonight against Los Angeles, which they would probably really need him, because we all know Danny Green can space the floor as well as play good defense, and that's something that would help them out as far as being able to try to beat the Lakers tonight. But he was upgraded. I checked this morning. He was upgraded to questionable, which to me, you know, you could play. They might want to just say questionable to surprise, so the Lakers won't be ready, but the Lakers will be ready regardless. But unless you're probable, I don't really see. It's just like with Anthony Davis' situation the other day when he got upgraded to questionable. He didn't return against Miami, but then he was upgraded to probable, and we saw that he did return against Brooklyn. So with that being said, focusing more on the matchups, I mean, if Frank Vogel keeps the starting lineup that he started with the other day, which I'm hoping that he has finally figured out some things here, which it wasn't damn rocket science to me, but hopefully he finally figured out that Stanley Johnson, which I'm going to talk about in a second, Stanley Johnson in the starting lineup along with AD and LeBron for your front court is going to be a pretty viable front court for any NBA team to have to contend with. And if you really stop to think about it, you will have 3 great defensive players on the court at one time starting for you. And by those 3 great defensive players, I mean Avery Bradley. We all know he's capable of playing great defense, even though, you know, he didn't have an NBA home and was cut by the Warriors. But at the end of the day, that's because, you know, he had some injury time. He did not go down to the bubble with the Lakers for that championship, although he did receive a ring. But we know Avery Bradley, you know, was out of action. But at the end of the day, we all know he's more than capable of being a great NBA player and an elite defender, because he picked James Harden pocket twice the other day and took it back down for the oop pad. I'm saying that was pretty impressive to me, because we know Harden is a pretty good ball handler. So as far as 3 great defensive players being in the lineup, I'm talking about Stanley Johnson, course, Anthony Davis and Avery Bradley. Now, LeBron picks and chooses at this stage in his career, but when he has help the same way, with Anthony Davis in there, I think he can gamble a lot more and shoot the passing lanes and things like that. So I think if the Lakers start off with that, then they automatically, the matchups are in their favor. I just hope that they don't trot Dwight Howard out there to play with Anthony Davis, and if they do, then that would put Stanley Johnson to the bench. And of course, we all know Melo will more than likely come off the bench. Maybe they'll put Melo and Stanley in together if they start off with Dwight Howard, figuring they need some size against Joel Embid. But at the end of the day, Anthony Davis, that's what we got you here for. That's why you're making all the big bucks. So you need to get in there and play center. And then, on the offensive end, let LeBron run that spot, and that's what's been leading to success. And I just feel like in tonight's matchup, if they do indeed start Stanley Johnson, he is going to play good defense against Tobias Harris and kind of, I won't say shut him down, but limit his opportunities, because he's a great ball denier, and he's a great on-the-ball defender, and he's a great closeout as far as closing out, the energy that he brings to the table and the effort. And I know, Shannon Sharp and other people saying, making excuses, he was a 10-day contract player, Avery Bradley was cut before the season, we got this and that, but I don't care. He was a lottery pick, and even though it didn't pan out, the first 4 or 5 years or whatever, first 4 years of his career, even though it didn't pan out for him, it still made him, even though it didn't really pan out for him, it still, he was able to take advantage of opportunity and being able to go ahead and find himself a place with the Los Angeles Lakers. And with that being said, a lot of people came up from the G League during this COVID thing, and they had chances to have opportunities, and he is one who took advantage of his opportunities. And to me, I think that the Lakers signing him, especially to a minimum deal, that is a good win for the Lakers, because, you eliminated Rondo to be able to clear up a roster spot. Rondo wasn't doing much for the Lakers as far as this year, as far as what they needed, as far as ball handlers, because they have a ball handler in LeBron James, and they have a ball handler in Westbrook, and they have a ball handler in THT. So I think it's a great move. What they really needed was a wing defender. That's what Stanley Johnson is. They needed somebody who can bang in the paint. That's something that Stanley Johnson can do. He's not afraid to take the three. He's made plenty of open threes. I mean, his career three-point percentage is only 30%, but this year he's shooting at 34, close to 35%, which is only going to get better because he's going to have more wide open looks when he's on the floor with LeBron James. So let's just hope that Coach Vogel has figured out the starting lineup, and I'm fine with that starting lineup. But if you want to bring Bradley out and have a Monk in, I'm fine with that too, because LeBron needs a lot of looks with Monk so he can get going. But if Monk knows his role is to come off the bench and he's going to get 25 minutes a game, and THT the same, then I think the Lakers are going to have a deadly bench, because when you can bring in a Monk who's capable of lighting it up, THT who's capable of getting it going, getting to the hole and facilitating for others, Carmelo Anthony don't even need to say what he can do, even though he has been, of course, always a liability on defense, which he showed spots of where he can be active with his hands and strip the ball and things like that, and just don't get bullied down in the paint. So at the end of the day, I like the Lakers' chances tonight. I like the Lakers' chances for the rest of the season. I love the move for signing a Stanley Johnson, because it doesn't send waves across the league. Like, you don't need to go and try to make all these trades. Just build from within for what you have. Rob Pelinka, they assembled this team. A lot of people was on LeBron James' head for bringing Westbrook here. People writing articles saying, this is all LeBron James' fault, like he the GM. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's Rob Pelinka's team. And you might have influence, but it's not like LeBron James has a gun to anybody's head, and it's not like he is holding them under fire because he signed, like he did in Cleveland, signing a bunch of one-year contracts. He signed for another year, so what could he do? Hold out. What can he really do? Be mad? At the end of the day, that's what it is. I mean, he wanted Lou to be the coach. Lou wasn't the coach. You understand me? He wanted Jay Kidd to be the coach. That didn't work out for whatever reasons, and reasons that we all know. But at the end of the day, it wasn't ultimately his pick. So everybody who says it's LeBron James' pick, he makes all the moves, that is simply not the case. And I did want to touch on this. I know somebody in the comments on yesterday had mentioned the stat padding, for LeBron and things like that. But I really want to point out that just the other day, the Clippers was involved in the game. And who were they playing? Damn it escapes me. But they were down by 30-something at halftime. They were down by over 30 throughout the course of the game, even in the third quarter, down by 25. But yet the Clippers came back and won that game. And then you see the Lakers were down by 26-27 to Miami, and they came back to cut it to 4. So the NBA is a game of runs. The NBA is a game of runs, and it's a game of matchups. And if you can match up well with somebody and you go on a run, you can come back at any time. So to say people's stat pattern, just like the other night when the Lakers were only up by 10 against Brooklyn with a minute and a half left, LeBron James called a timeout, and they got their starters out of there to get breaks, because we all know LeBron James is 4th in the league in minutes, even at the age of 37. And what he's doing is so unprecedented. And I know people want to wipe away the Jordan years in the Wizards. They actually happened. Jordan went to the Wizards when he was 38, so basically damn near the same age as LeBron James. And he had some remarkable performances here and there, and he had some terrible performances here and there. And let's don't say he didn't have any good help, because he had Jerry Stackhouse, who was one of the premier guards in the league at the time. And Jerry Stackhouse, we know, was a hell of a player. And they didn't even make the playoffs in a very weak East. So, give LeBron James his props and stop picking and choosing, for Michael Jordan, like the Wizards years didn't happen when the Wizards years did happen. And, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because it's still impressive what Jordan was able to do at that age. He led the Wizards in points the first year, and the second year he was second in points, and he averaged like 20 a game at the age of 40. That's damn good, because Michael Jordan is great. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to finish this GOAT countdown, and I finally figured out where I left off. I think it was at number 4, so I just got to get these last 3. And I'm going to do a recap, but I definitely want to get these last 3 in there. And I got some new data and some matrices that I want to reveal as well, even though it didn't play into what I picked, because I picked by mostly the eye test and by just what I've seen, and also by historical research, data, and statistics, even though I didn't see like Wilt play. But you'll be dumb as hell if you don't got Wilt in your top 10. Just things like that. So at the end of the day, the Lakers are going to continue to do what they do. I predict victory tonight. I predict a victory tomorrow against Charlotte. And hot damn it, I predict a victory against Atlanta to finish up this road trip at 5-1. And then the Lakers go back home for some home stands and to get it back cooking again, because now these are the dog days of January, where in the NBA you're not just really paying attention. A lot of fans not paying attention. A lot of people, the players, just not giving it they all. We know once All-Star break is up, which is coming soon, and we all know the players going to put their all into it. And once they put their all into it, it's going to be a wrap. Once the energy kicks up and everything picks up, it is going to be a wrap. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And the Lakers are a team that's built for the playoffs. Like I've continued to say, they are a team that's built for the playoffs, and they're going to continue to be that way. And nobody for this season, I'm telling you right now, somebody in the comments, please tell me down in the comments a team that you think is really going to be able to beat the Lakers in the playoffs. In the playoffs. Please don't say Golden State. Please don't say Phoenix, because I'm telling you, the Lakers have what they need now. The Lakers have what they need now. And I'm not saying, Stanley Johnson is the end-all, be-all, but because, I'm just going to say this, because Stanley Johnson was moved to the starting lineup, that's letting me know that the coaching staff is paying attention to what they need and what the Lakers need in order to be successful and go out here and start stringing wins together. Because if they trot Trevor Reeves out there, then I know that they're failing as an organization. And by Trevor Reeves not getting any minutes the other night, then that lets me know that maybe the Lakers finally realize that they are on to something. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like, if they continue and do the same thing with the same lineup, what I've been preaching, this is what I've been saying, this is the lineup that the Lakers need to be successful. That's what I've been saying. And now that they're starting to do it, then I think they're going to be very formidable. Because I don't care, what team you are, whether it's Memphis, whether it's Phoenix, whether it's Golden State, nobody wants to see a healthy LeBron James in the playoffs. Nobody wants to see that. we all know what LeBron James, he amps it up to a whole nother level in the playoffs. And last year, unfortunately, y'all know what I'm trying to say. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that because LeBron was still coming off that high ankle sprain, which takes a lot of time. And even though Phoenix did a great job defensively and formed the wall because they didn't have to worry about Anthony Davis and tried to force LeBron James to play from the outside, it's not gonna work this time. It's not gonna work with the healthy LeBron because we all see what he's been doing, getting to the basket. You know, I did want to touch on something Skip Bayless was talking about on yesterday with Shea Sharp, talking about LeBron shooting threes and how he's just chasing Kareem and stat padding and all this and that. It's not the case. He's been trying to win basketball games. You could tell when somebody's just out there playing me, because he could easily not pass it. He's not been a ball hog. He's been very selective in his shots. And yes, he has taken more threes, but a lot of players are taking more threes. And LeBron James has been pretty hot from making three. So, you know, he has some times when he's cold and it's, you know, it's just not his night. But hey, that is what it is. I don't think he's stat padding or trying to catch Kareem because he's shooting more threes. I also think it's a product of his age too, because he can get to the hole, but a lot of times during the game he has to take a break, and he feel like, okay, I can shoot this three and we might can get a long rebound, and if we don't, then I can easily get back down on defense and get in position. So for all the people that think, oh, LeBron James is stat padding, no. You stat padding when you're in meaningless games and you just in here just taking all the shots. The only thing I will say LeBron did this year as far as stat padding was at the end of that game, I want to say against Miami, where basically the comeback was over and they had cut it down to 4, but then it ended up going back to 7. It was like 3 or 4 seconds left, and he went in and got a layup. You know, it is what it is. Stop it. You know, that may have been a form of stat padding, but just a couple of points. Don't hate, man. So, you know, I just try to keep it a buck, man. I keep it 100 every time. So either hate it or love it, but at the end of the day, the Lakers gonna keep doing what they're doing. And I haven't forgot about the little Charlie Wilson clip. Don't be too disappointed. For everybody who wanted to see it, I'm gonna add it on at the end of this video. I have not forgot. So get ready for the little Charlie Wilson clip. If you like Charlie, then go ahead and watch it. If not, move on, and we will be talking about some post-game analysis tomorrow as we talk about the Lakers' victory. So I need everybody to get on board and send positive energy towards the Lakers on this evening for yet another victory, for Anthony Davis to go out and stay healthy and do his thing against Joel Embid tonight, because it will be needed, because Joel Embid has been on a hell of a roll. So with all that being said, man, this has been your boy, Be New. As always, I'm hollering out right on to the real, and much love to these haters.